I was still working as a waiter in a week. I passed 1.4 million. At that time, I knew I can make more money. People were telling me to stop at 40K, 50K, didn't stop. 60K, 70K, 80K, 90K, 100K, 110K, 25, 35, then I stopped.
Wow.
In 4 weeks of trading, yeah, $233K.
Welcome everyone to the Words of Rizdom podcast. We're back once again, and we're still the number one podcast in the world, the fastest growing, thanks to all of you and our incredible guests. Talking of which, today we have a phenomenal guest making shockwaves over on Twitter for an absolutely insane month. Just a single month has done about £180,000.
187,000, yeah.
£187,000 in one single month, trading prop firms as well, even amongst all the craziness happening in prop firms. So we're joined by none other than the one and only Simran Singh, aka Ghost Wavy. There we go. Where does the name come from, Ghost Wavy?
I was thinking of choosing a name. Before, I used to be Slumdog Not Yet Millionaire. So when I passed my first 100K, it was at Funded Trading Plus. They have so I changed it to Soon to be a million. So Slumdog Soon to be a Millionaire. Mm-hmm. And then I just found it cringe, so I just changed it to the gamer tag my brother had on my Call of Duty username. Okay. So I was like Ghost Wavy, and then from there, that's how I got it.
I like both names. But I like the first one. I really like it. That's really cool. Well, you're moving towards being moving towards it. Yeah. Well, tell us. Let's go straight into the payouts to begin with, right? Because I do want to get into your journey as well, like how we got there. But let's go into the payouts to start with. So, £187,000 in a single month. Yeah. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. We don't see that often. The power of prop firms for sure. Power of skill set, hopefully, as well. Yeah. Tell us about that. Like, what was it like going through that process, seeing those numbers on the screen? I know you've already told me, and I think you've said online as well, like it would have been more.
Yeah. So, seeing the numbers on a screen, so it's really the ego you get with it. So once you on a peak, and then you see your account go down from the peak, that's when it hits. So that's when I would have gotten a 108K payout after split, but I lost quite a few gains. So my ego did hit a bit. So the ego and trading goes together. So when you win a lot of trades, you're egotistical, the euphoria, and that's the downfall of the trader. So I went on a really big win streak, and then I lost about 30% of my gains on the ACG account, but I managed to sustain the my payouts, my gains on the other funded accounts. Yeah.
Yeah, so, what's it like? Obviously, are you doing a trade copy or are you doing a single?
Oh, so I'm doing it manually because, as you know, prop firm industry is a mess right now. I don't want to give them any reason, so I'm trading on one device, not logging on to it from any other device. I'm not using any EAs because I've seen people get payout denied just because they're using a position manager. I'm not using any VPN, VPS, none of that, not even a trade copier, because I've seen people get payouts denied that I personally know them, that their payout got denied because they were using a dedicated VPS from MT5. So so I'm not trying to give them any reason unless I break one of the rules, of course. Yeah.
No, definitely. No, it makes sense, and it's so interesting when it comes to that stuff like the VPS, etc. Because I understand if you're from a particular country, for example, where you have to use it, right? Yeah. But then I don't understand it when people are from, say, the UK or, in Europe, for example.
There's a way around it. I don't know if many people have thought about it. So you get TeamViewer, have a PC set up in one single place, and you can use the TeamViewer to access your PC. From there, you have your own dedicated IP that no one will able to tell on the back end. Mm-hmm. You could do that if you wanted. But I myself, I trade on my phone 24/7 because I like trading on my phone, so I can trade whenever. Like literally, if I woke up, I can have a look. If there's an opportunity while I'm out in the park or shopping, I'll take that trade. Because my ideology is take all the trades you see, get your edge play out, and because as soon as you move to break even, you free money. You should be no risk after.
So I call it like a bulletproof trade.
Not a bulletproof trade because I do hold trades into drawdown. The maximum I'd be willing.
I mean, when you go break even.
So when I go break even, I'm not moving my break even. Not moving my break even. So I've been the reason why people been saying, oh yeah, why are you taking so many trades? Some of the big influencers I've been talking to in trading, like, oh, you're taking too many trades, that's gambling. They would say that, but it's not actually gambling because I'm managing my risk. Like last week when I was doing back-to-back 30k days, back-to-back 30k days. But in those days, sometimes I would even start out with 2% drawdown, 3% drawdown. I'll still recover my account to break even and then go again from there. And then I was making 30k days like that again. And of course, there were days where I would lose nearly 4% of my drawdown, which is okay because I was up huge. Even if I lose 4% of my gains, they didn't harm me anyway. So the way I was handling this big money was I'd get into trades, stay in break even, and let the market do its thing because market right now is really volatile. So if it moves in a direction, it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going. Just don't close out your profits too early. But if there's a climatic move, close it out because climatic moves they always retrace. I mean, in my back testing, they always retrace 61.8% fib level at some point. So they will, let's say it keeps going down, might go down a bit more, but at some point it's gonna make a low and it's gonna trace 60% of your gains. So one of my big trades, I made about $80,000 on this trade before profit splits or anything. So this was about 20% of my total funded capital at that time. So I made about 80k, and it was floating profit, right? So for me, I didn't have at that time I only had about 10,000 in my bank. So this was after the first AFCG payout. I'd paid off some debts. I'd given my parents some money, enough money to sustain the house, even if I flop trading, so enough mortgage to pay enough mortgage to pay as well. So I had about 10k, so I couldn't afford to lose a 80k payout. So when I saw floating profit like that, so first day was 14k. Took a screenshot, and then I closed the app. I wake up and then it was midnight. So I took a quick 5-minute nap, dozed off. I woke up, see a big floating profit of about 30k. And then I could have closed it there because 30k for me that time. I was still working my waiting job. I was making about £15 an hour, so I could have closed it there. But no, the hardest thing with my strategy is to hold a trade when it's in big profit. Because I've had trades where I'm up about, let's say, 20 grand, and they've reversed on me. I've got stopped out at break even after being up 20k, and that's part of the game. It's part of the market. So break even for me is the most break even what's made me profitable.
Yeah.
Break even is what made me profitable, and then even my break evens are not actual break even, so they'll always be in a bit of profit. So they eat away at my losses slowly. So when my break evens are actually on 200k account, when I do get stopped at break even, most of the time it'll be about $700 or $500 profit on 200k account, and they're the one actually keeping me away from taking these big losses, because I had about 32 trades in one day, and 11 hours 11 hours on the screen. So I traded the Asian session, I traded the London session, I traded the New York session. I didn't sleep at all. So and this was back to back, so I was trading all sessions. The times I would sleep is about 7 p.m. UK time, so 7 p.m. to about 11 p.m. I would sleep there because the market volatility is there's nothing there. Nothing's happening, even if FOMC is the only thing that can move the market at that time, but nothing is moving gold at that time. US 30, yes, but gold is not moving at that time. So I'll trade all the sessions, trade all the setups I see, even if the setup is not probable. I'll still trade, and I'll move my stop loss to break even as soon as another structure has formed that should protect my stop loss, because I'm assuming the markets are perfect. If the markets are perfect, they shouldn't be going there. But if they are going there, I'm happy to take a position opposite my bias, because they shouldn't be going there if the markets are perfect. So the ideology is, so you assume the markets are perfect, even though they're not. That's why that's the lot of stop break-even trades. But when the markets actually do behave perfectly, you're going to catch really big moves with a really small risk. Yeah.
So would you class yourself as a scalper, day trader, swing trader?
So I initially get into position for scalping at about 10 to 15 minutes. So my usual trades, so the big trades I make, my trades last about 8 hours. So big trade. So I had one trade which lasted merely 15 minutes. The market dumped in my favor. I don't know. When I set my TPs, I'll set my TPs at ridiculous, delusional rates. So let's say on gold, I'll set my TPs at $100 move, Even though I'm not going to hold till there, I'll probably close out when I see a climatic move. But sometimes they do happen. So you don't want to limit your profit in this market, in this macros especially, because Eastern news, so Middle East news can come out, the gold can move in your favor, and the break even is there to protect you. So you don't want to limit your gains, but you also don't want to hold a trade so long that it went into profit, deep profits, and then you let it go to your stop loss. Yeah, exactly. So you always want to be. So my ideology is be in a trade, be at break even, be risk free, let the market do its thing, and look out for a good move. And you also want to exit on when you see a reversal happening. So you see, for example, I don't exactly trade ICT, but I've watched all of his content. So let's say you were short, comes down to a fair value gap. For example, gold today, I'm in a trade right now even. So it's respecting that fair value gap. And it's respecting that fair value, but there's not actually bullish reaction. So yes, it's going up a bit, but there's not actual immediate bullish reaction. So I can hold that trade. I can hold that trade. So I'm got a floating profit about 5%, and it's gone down to 3%, and it's moving in my favor. There's no immediate bullish reaction. So I'm happy to hold that trade at break even, even though this account is at 8% drawdown. I have about 2K left to play with, so it's a 100K account. Even though, so I have about so I have about it's at 98K right now, and if I close right now, I could save the trade, save the account on another day. I could definitely do that, but because because I want to let my strategy play out, I want to let the market do its thing. I'll hold it at break even, and even if I get stopped at break even, I'll still have 2K to play. I don't really mind, because that's the probability. That's the game of trading.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And would you say that the volatility with gold is what has sort of opened up this profitability window for you?
Not really, because I've been trading US 30 as well. Okay. So the best trade of my life happened quite recently with my ACG account. I caught a 1.7% move, not 1.7% of my account, but 1.7% of the actual move on US 30. And it was beautiful. So I caught the top, and I caught the short as well, long from there. So you'll see most of my trades when I'll short the position, I'll buy, and I go long again for the retracement, then I'll short again. So that's how I play. So you assume the markets are perfect, and you're able to catch these moments where the markets are actually perfect, and with that your return, your risk to reward goes up a huge amount.
What sort of risk are you doing per trade though to sort of hit these numbers?
On an ideal day where my psychology is on point, so I'll trade the Asian session, aim to make about 2%, 3%. Then I'll increase my risk. So once I've made 2 to 3%, I don't want to go back to drawdown. So go to 2 to 3%. Then I'll keep trading until I hit break even on the day. So I'll keep trading until I hit the break even. So so the risk will range from anywhere from 0.5% to 3%. And 3% not of the initial account. So because my accounts were floating around 300K, so I was risking I was risking 9K at times, because the initial account was 200, and I was risking 9K, but it's because I was at 300 balance, so I could do that. But yeah, so I'm risking anywhere from 0.5 to 0.5 to 3%. But also, the one thing that actually helped me use this variable risk is I studied further statistics for my A-levels, and it was quite interesting. You learn geometric distribution. So if you assume the markets are perfect. So when you flip a coin, you say the coin will be perfect to half and half, right? Yeah. So it's not a biased market. So you assume that. And then ACG, they came up with this casino game on their Discord, where you put in 10 coins. And you either win 20, or you hit a jackpot, or you lose the 10 coins. I started doing that. I started wearing my risk, and in about 9 hours, I was second on the leaderboard. And after for that game, yeah. And then because I was wearing my risk, I was using geometric distribution, what I learned in school. Using that to play the game. So when I would win big, I'd look for a losing streak. So I'd go 10-10-10, loss. Once I three losses, I'll go up. So martingale, you could say, another version of martingale. I would do that, And then that showed me that if you vary your risk on your losing day, and then once you've had quite a few losses, and if you up your risk a bit, of course, don't drastically full port your account, right? So and while you still at break, so I was still at 3%. I make a lot of money. I reduce my risk drastically, and if I get a few losses, and if my daily bias is still intact, and I see setups, I'll increase my risk just a bit, and that got me huge returns. So I was doing like, so 30K, 32K days, and it wasn't in one big trade. Yeah, I've had a few trades where I've made a lot of money in one trade, but I had 2 days where I took about 25 trades each day, and all my wins were like 4K, 5K, 4K, 5K, and I on those I did 40K days like that. Yeah, so the varying risk helps a lot.
Interesting. So let's say, for example, let's take that account you have right now with 8% in drawdown. What sort of risk are you doing because you're in drawdown? Is that just sort of a static risk when you're going in drawdown?
So let's flip. I'll show you my trades that I recently took. One moment. Yeah, so I've had a win for 1.2K US30 buy. Then I got stopped out at break even gold. I got stopped out at gold again. Then I lost about. So these are separate trades. I lost 1.3K, 1.3K again, 1.2K. Then I lost 4.6K because I increased my risk. I lost. Okay. Then I had a loss for $6. Then I had a loss for $37. Then I had a loss for $84.
Would those be break even?
Break even trades again. Yeah, because I'm getting into trades with idea of me being break even, and let the market do its thing and make. So again, today I took a 10. So I have got $2K left, $2 left to play with. I took a short.
$2K.
Yeah. So $2,000 left in the account drawdown. And then I took a short and moved straight to break even. Once it moved into a position, because I can't afford it to go to 2K, right? So I can't afford it. So once it's gone bit of green, once it's done a break of structure, straight break even. So the market should not be coming back to that point if it's indeed bearish. So as we're talking, I'm looking for gold to move down to 295. That'll be my phase 2 path for another 100K.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, no, because I'm understanding what you're saying, and hopefully people are following along in terms of the dynamic risk. So your mindset is sort of following the market's perfect. You treat the market as if it's perfect.
Yeah.
You follow that. If you're having losing streaks, you start to size up after you think a losing streak has formed. Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to tell you about the best trading tool on the market, TradeZella. The reason why TradeZella is the #1 trading tool that every trader needs is because you can do backtesting, automated journaling, trade replay, in-depth analytics, and so much more. And the greatest part about TradeZella is that it's all automated. All you have to do is connect your MT4 and MT5. It will pull all your data onto the dashboard. You can add playbooks. You can just add notes. You can add images from your trades, and you can get the insights that is necessary for you to progress as a trader. Now, TradeZella is for absolutely everyone. Whether you're a crypto trader, whether you're a Forex trader, whether you trade prop firms, it is for absolutely everyone. And that is why thousands of traders have signed up using my link here through the podcast. Make sure you use the code RIZ10 for 10% off your monthly subscription, or WOR for 20% off your yearly subscription. The link is in the description below. And let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, so after you see a really high probable setup, so let's say you've had a really good, so this is the ideal day. Ideal day will look like you trade the Asian session. So people say don't trade the Asian session, but gold right now, the most, who's pushing the gold up right now? China is a central bank. So they're the ones pushing the market up right now. And why would you not trade the session that China is trading on? You see, so they're the one actually dumping. So all the dumps been happening of gold in Asian session right now. So why would you not want to trade the Asian session? So my idea is that you trade the Asian session. You risk 1%. You keep your risk really low. You keep your risk low. You make about 2 to 3%. Then in London session, you risk that 2% to potentially make another 1 to 3, which then you've made 6%, and you're already up 2 to 3%. So you're already up 8% for the day, and let's say you lose that 2%, right? You still got 1% to play with. If you lose that trade in London, you can trade that in New York, still make 4%, 6%. It's really easy to have those type of days once you've made a win in the Asian session. So after that, you can increase your risk, but just don't go into drawdown, because if you blow the account, there's no point.
Of course.
Yeah.
What happens though if you trade Asia and you take losses in Asia?
So if I take a loss, so most firms have 5% drawdown. I'll be risking about 1% in Asia, 1.5 or maximum 2, because after that you can't trade London. So 1% risk in Asia. If I lose that, then I'll look to take another trade in Asia. So until I'm up 2 to 3% in Asia, I'm not going to stop trading, and then I'll trade the London with increased risk. And I'll stop about 4%, because I'm comfortable with being in 4% drawdown. 6% is where my psychology kicks in a bit, so over leveraging, over risking. 6% is where it kicks in.
Okay.
But 4%, 5% drawdown, I can still manage to recover. Yeah.
And in terms of your targets or risk to reward, I was going to ask you about, like risk to reward wise, you got this risk. You're risking roughly between 1 to 2% per trade. So what sort of risk to reward? Do you have a fixed risk to reward you look at, or do you have fixed targets or ways of looking at targets, or are you pretty open to letting it ride?
So I'm pretty open to letting it ride, but not. I keep my targets at. So what I do is I pull up the daily chart. I pull up the daily chart and I imagine what the close will be like. Because you can't expect a big red close after a big green close, right? Even though sometimes you'll be bearish after a big green candle on the daily, and you can't expect a whole red candle breaking that previous day low. So you expect the wick will be. So you can say the wick will be across 1/3 of the body of the last previous day green candle. So because I've used to gamble a lot in the market initially, I used to hawk the 1 minute chart. So I've gotten really comfortable watching the 1 minute chart for hours. There's even been times where I was in a Bitcoin position where I watched the 1 minute chart constantly for about 3 days. I didn't sleep at all. Was watching, even eating while going to the toilet. I was on the charts.
Always, yeah.
On the charts, 1 minute chart. So I was able to predict the 1 minute. So because I watched 1 minute chart a lot, so I know how it acts. So I enter my trades on the 1 minute, but my TPs are daily. So I have daily targets. So where I imagine the daily candle will close, where the low will be, where the high will be. So I imagine all that. I make a candle in my head, and according to that candle, I set my TPs. But if there's a sudden climatic move, which has happened once with me, where the gold market just dumped in Asia, there's no reason, just dumped, made about 30K there. So if there's a climatic move like that, I'm out. If the market is slowly trickling to my target, yes, I'll hold. But if the market suddenly dumps to my target, I'm out, because I don't want that 61% retracement.
Yeah.
Because even on this the trade I made 80K, it would have. So if I had held, I would have made about 230K on that trade in one single trade. And my TP was set there. So if you go on my MetaTrader, you click on the position, you see the TP. The TP was at 325. I exited at 64, I believe. So even though my TP was set there, but the market dumped in a way, and then it retraced 61.8%. I'm not willing. I don't want the stress of holding that position, seeing those gains go back and up. So I'm out. So you want to reduce your stress, because what happens if the market doesn't move back in your favor? So your psychology is going to get even worse. So rather than protecting your drawdown, protect your psychology and then the drawdown.
That's an interesting way of looking at it, yeah. In terms of payouts, though, so you've had these large payouts now. Did you have like payouts maybe on a smaller fashion before? We will have to go back to how my trading journey began. So, let's start. Well, how long have you been trading
for? I've been trading since the AMC GME era. So just before that, 2 weeks just before AMC started ripping up, I put about £27 on a personal account, trading 212. And I counted into, I made £3 on £27, right? No leverage, so there's no leverage included in this. So I was trading on ISA account, and I was like, oh wow, I'm just gonna buy a mule deal with this. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then I asked my mom to give me another 100. She was hesitant. She should have been. So my cousin said, okay, let him try. Give him 100. Let's see what he does, right? And then after that, I got addicted to trading. So after addiction, it was turned into gambling. So I started. I started losing a lot of money, and then I hit, the initial beginner of luck, you could say. Yeah. So I had that. I turned about 2K to 20K within a week. No leverage again, so nothing for penny stocks going crazy, right?
Really?
Yeah. So 2K to 20K. So I go, oh look, Dad, look, I made this much money, and then when Dad gave even more money, so they gave me about 18K of their money to invest. Then my dad told his boss, he's really rich, but he doesn't invest a lot. So he's only into real estate, and he has a business.
Mm-hmm.
He's really rich, so he gave me about 32K to invest of his money, and I ended up losing it all in one day.
Really?
Yeah, all of it in one day. And I was 17 then. So literally, I lost all of it in one day. And then I had no capital. My parents saw trading as gambling, so they never actually funded the journey after that. So people will say, you got parents helping you with that, but I was on my own to fund my trading journey.
What were they saying to you after that?
Oh, so this is an expression in Punjabi which I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Tu khote di gaand ch pehe panna pe." That literally translates to you're putting money into a donkey's ass.
Your mum's laughing at it.
So exactly. So so they didn't believe in trading at all. And then, so I kept going because I knew I was going to be, because where I've lost money, I'll make money, right? So if I lost money, someone actually made money in some way. So because where you can lose, I lost about 80K at 17. I was made, so someone actually could have made 90K, right?
Yeah.
So that kept me going. And then because I had spent so much time into trading, because I was so mentally put down by trading, my studies started getting affected. So in A-levels, I did really well. But once I got to university, my mental health started dropping, and I was falling behind. And it got to a point where I had to choose which side. And because I had lost so much in trading, and because I'm really competitive, that I'll always think that I'm the smartest person in the room, even if I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really competitive with myself, so to say. So so I was like, okay, I need to focus on trading. So then I decided dropping out of university. And then, so I decided not to care about university. I was still in university for the maintenance loan to help me fund my trading.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was still going to university for the maintenance loan, but I wasn't really focusing on my studies. So to talk about prop firms, so how I got introduced to prop firm was I funded a 5K account myself, so £5,000 into a live account myself. 3K came from I was working in a restaurant in Heathrow, so 3K came from there, a month's salary. I had about 2,000 come in from maintenance loan, so I had about 5K. I go to university, so the university year was starting, so I got the money. So I went in, I made about $200, got really happy. Then I lost £4,000 of that live account, and then I only had about 1,000 left.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw an ad for Surge Trader, and then which I'm banned there now. I'm banned there now, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But for Surge Trader, I started trading. I passed. Luckily, I passed my first 25K evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was so new to prop firms, I was trying to open 100 lots short on Tesla. Yeah, you can't even do that on a 200K account. So I was trying to. So I was really new to trading on prop firms, or even trading on MT5, because before this I was trading on my live non-leverage account. So I was trading on my ISA.
Yeah.
Before I got introduced to prop firms. So this was about 2 years ago.
Oh, so you're still trading the stocks then?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because the stock trading I'm really good at. I want to go back to stock trading. Some firms they're going to bring stock trading soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trading stocks, and then I lost a bunch of chunk of my money, and then I had about 1,000 left, which I can't do. I can't make any good returns with. Yeah. And then I started like, let me try prop firm. I made about passed my first 25K valuation. I didn't get a payout because I didn't know what I was doing. Then I passed another 50K valuation, luck again, didn't know what I was doing. But then I breached that account, but they still pay out if you have any gains on it because they had trailing drawdown. Okay. Yeah, so I got about 2.5K left. Then I passed another 100K account with the 2.5K. I used it all up to pass it. And then they didn't set my drawdown level right, so I had no drawdown level set on that funded account. And then apparently they A-booked me for some reason, and then they that's what I think. So I don't know if they A-booked me or not, but I had no drawdown on the live account, and then I went about £50,000 in drawdown, $50,000 on that 100K account, and then it recovered and tried requesting a payout, and they literally just straight out banned me. And then after that, I went into funded trading plus, which was the biggest mistake of my life, I'd say, because I spent about £30,000 there, and this £30,000 I earned as a waiter as well. And this was offering to £10 an hour. So I've spent a lot of time and money in funded trading plus. But because they had a trailing drawdown, even though I passed a lot of funded accounts, 100K accounts, that was the only one I would go for. Passed a lot of funded accounts, made a lot of gains on it, but I never actually got to a profit split because I'd always try to get their scaling plan. In scaling plan, they remove your daily drawdown and they scale up your account twice, but it was just them giving you extra leverage. There's no extra drawdown or anything, which I didn't understand at that point, which I didn't understand the value of that point. And then I saw Alpha Capital Group by Daniel FX. I'm not sure if that's his. So Daniel FX, I saw an ad from him. About talking about ACG, so I was like, let me give them a try. And I read the rules, and I was like, why have I been trading? Why have I been trading with Funded Trading Plus? I was like, why was I trading with this firm? Because the prices were the same. The prices were the same. I was like, why was I stuck with them? Because the toll it takes on your psychology. And then I got an ACG account, 200K, which my parents paid for because I had no money left. I literally had no money left. I was like, come on, please give it to me. I literally begged my parents to give me enough money for one challenge. And then even this was, if I had to talk to them for about a month, I talked them into buying me an account for a month. And then I passed my phase 1, but then I breached my phase 2. And then I was desperate. So I messaged Joey at ACG. And he's like, okay, no worries, I can help you. So contact me tomorrow. He issued me another 200K. I passed that. I had about 16K profit, but I never actually made it to a payout because, again, I was like, okay, let me keep trading. And then I lost all that money, right? I wasn't protecting my capital. And then from there, I had about 2 months where I couldn't buy any challenges, so I had to look for a job. While I was looking for a job, Joey, he guided me. You need a stable income to trade because you want to trade, not because you need to trade. And he started giving me psychology tips, which I applied to myself. And then I started seeing some good results. So I became profitable, as in my system started to work, even though I wasn't following my system on actual funded accounts. So my system would work. So I would backtest my strategy, and it's working. I was like, oh, I should be doing this. But whenever I would get a challenge, so this is literally November. So in November, I would get a challenge, not follow my plan, and then blow the account. But when I backtest my plan for that day, it would actually work really well. And this cycle went on till middle of December. Middle of December, and then after middle of December, I was like, okay, enough is enough. Next month, I had to pay for university myself. So I was like, okay, are you gonna put your money into university degree, or are you gonna put it into trading? And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna drop out of university because I'm really far behind. There's no point of me trying to catch up because
Did you tell your parents at the time?
Yeah, I did. They were disappointed, but
what were you studying at university?
I was studying at UCL, mathematical computation.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a really hard degree. So only about 18 people do it, and respect to people who are doing it because it's really hard, really hard degree. But I was like,
your parents must have been pissed.
Yeah, they must. Yeah, all my family, because I'm the person in my family who's gone to the best university in our family circle. And considering I came here in UK in year 7 without knowing how to speak English, so I did really well for myself, and all my family was like, don't do it. And then once I went through with it, they just kind of gave up on me. So I was just so this is December when I told them I'm gonna drop out. I don't care. And then so in December I was like, okay, I need to work on myself. So I finally decided to take gambling therapy. So I was like, okay,
really?
Yeah. So I finally decided to take gambling therapy. So Joey's like,
how did you go about that?
So I contacted GamCare. It's a free service. Anyone want to use
in the UK?
Yeah, in the UK, exactly. So I went through them. They recommended me a therapist. So because my scenario was so different, it wasn't typical gambling. It was gambling in the stock market. It was a challenge for the therapist as well to actually give me therapy. And then I took about 5 sessions, which is you're meant to take sessions for like 3-4 months, right, to get rid of the therapy. Took about 5 sessions. This was about 5 weeks. I took 5 weeks, 1 session a week, and then we started talking, and then we really started going to what was causing me to rush the process. It was the thing that was rushing me was because I had told my parents not to worry about money too soon, that I'm gonna make it too soon. So I was rushing to prove them wrong, in a sense that, I can do this, rather than proving it to myself. So I was rushing to prove them wrong rather than prove me right.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I got stuck into this cycle, which was causing me to blow all these accounts and not follow my plans and risk management, over leveraging.
So was it like a loop where you would see profit not take it because you're thinking of that. The
Yeah,
image
so
in your head is,
so the
I'm
loop
gonna
is,
do
yeah,
this.
so I need to get a big payout and show to them, look, I can do it. And then, because I was trying to prove them wrong. So
And this was, therapy-wise, was December
this was December, literally December. So
2023.
Exactly, 2023. Yeah. So I took gambling therapy. I took after they recommended me a dopamine fast. I did that. After that, I literally stopped over leveraging.
What was part of the dopamine?
So dopamine fast was deleting all social media, deleting Netflix, doing nothing. Literally just working. You can read. You can put on a nice meditating music on the side, and then you can enjoy that. But literally nothing. You do nothing that you enjoy.
How long did you do that
I
for?
did that for about 2 weeks. The thing is, because I was working and December was really busy at restaurants because Christmas and all.
Yeah.
It kind of helped me because I was already making my life miserable there. So, so my life was already miserable, so I didn't need to do much, right? I just had to come home, sleep, eat, and read a book.
Yeah.
So I did that, and after I took my first challenge in January. I stopped over leveraging literally out of nowhere. I didn't see the need to put on 80 lots. So 80 lots is the max you can do at ACG. I didn't need the urge. So I didn't see the urge to me to actually full port. So I started reducing my risk. So I started having stop losses. I started introducing them, and then I saw this person's Diago. He's a support team member at ACG. He posted his results. He's like, oh look, if I target 1-to-1, I make more money. If I target 1-to-2 or 1-to-3 or 1-to-4, I make less money. I was like, okay, shit. So I used literally his backtesting data to give insight into mine, and then I realized that you don't need huge RR, or you don't even need a fixed RR to make money. So you can be flexible with it. That it's not a rule to go for minimum 1-to-2, or you must have this win rate, or you must have this risk to reward. So you can be flexible with it. And then I started backtesting my strategy. So while I was doing the dopamine fast, I'd come home at about 11 or 12 a.m. So midnight, I'll come home there, and then I'd literally backtest a strategy that I was building at that point. And it was working. It was working every single day. So every single day, it was working. So there's no losing streak for that strategy in December. And then I'd backtested for a few more months back in the past, and they actually had a really good win rate, 80%, 80% win rate if you followed certain rules. I was like, okay, let me start applying this, and it gave me the confidence. I wasn't necessarily using this strategy. I still use it sometimes. I wasn't necessarily using it, but it gave me the confidence to trade on my own and make a system that's flexible on RR, win rate, and all of that, right? Flexible on RR, win rate, and risk. So be fluid with the market. So it gave me confidence to be fluid with the market. And then getting to my first funded account, so 300K, I passed. On that account, I made about 100. So I had 100K accounts times 3 for 300K accounts. So I'm just we're just gonna jump into 100K figures now. So on that, I was trading them all same manually again. So I made about 6K profit. I lost that profit. I went back to 96. I wasn't stressed. Because I knew my strategy would work. So literally 6%. I went back down to 96%. I lost 10% of my profit. Then again, I went to 1.5. Then again to 8, then 12, and people were telling me to stop because I believed in my strategy, because I had the confidence to keep going. Because at that time I only had 5 minus. My account was at minus 2.5K at that time.
Your bank account.
Yeah. So when I had about £12,000, $12,000 profit, and 12,000 times 3 as well, so 36K profit. Okay. So my bank was still negative. So people were telling me to stop because secure the payout, right? And then, but because I had so much confidence, and because I knew I could be fluid with the market, I started kept going. I got the account to 120K. So I had 60K before the profit split. And on my payout day, I requested that. The first big chunk of money I ever made. Parents were proud. I finally gained the self-respect in my house back.
How was that, though? Tell me more in detail about that moment.
I was still working as a waiter while I was getting the payout split. I would look in the mirror. I'd start smiling at myself. It was the best thing, the best feeling you can ever get. But at that time, I knew I can make more money. And after that, I didn't start getting euphoric with these big payouts. So they ruined the big payout for me.
Really?
Yeah. So once I had floating profit, because I had 36K in my bank account, I could always afford to buy new challenges. So I had enough money to keep it rolling. And then, so I had enough money to keep it rolling. So I bought a lot of funded challenges. So the thing was, because of this big payout, I stopped respecting challenges. And I lost about 12K worth of challenges, and 12K worth of challenges with the 36K payout I got.
What was the mindset in terms of that? I just need to get
exactly. So I was rushing these, and these were at a shit firm as well. So so shit firm. So I'm gonna call them out. Funded peaks. Their slippage is so bad. So their slippage is so bad. I've talked about it publicly as well. They said we're getting a new liquidity provider soon, but they haven't gotten to anything. And then because I had lost a lot of money, I wanted to get a payout with them, which I did. I got a 25K payout with them.
Mm-hmm.
But their slippage is so bad. So I wasted 12K to get back at them. So I wasn't revenge trading. I was revenge prop firm. So
as a new concept.
New concept, exactly. So but I've stopped trading with them for now until they get a new liquidity provider. They have money to pay out, but the liquidity provider is shit.
Mm-hmm.
But so yes, exactly. I've stopped respecting challenges. Because, for example, right now I have a phase 200K, which is worth $300, right? Which is kind of nothing to me, because I didn't have this much money before, and now I can buy thousands of prop firm challenges if I wanted, right? But I decided to respect it, not full port it. So literally, while the old myself would have put around 30 lots with 2K drawdown, trying to pass it in one go, and it has happened before, which I regret, because I decided to take a bear approach, put in only 10 lots with 1,000 risk. So I still have another trade to take. And then,
so would you say you're more conservative on challenges?
Yeah, more conservative on challenges, exactly. On phase 2. Phase 1s, I don't care on phase 1. But phase 2s, because you already done half the job, why blow the account, right?
Okay, so like a bit aggressive on phase 1?
Yeah.
Phase 2, slow it down?
Yeah, slow it down a bit. Yeah, so try protecting the challenge rather than blowing the challenge in one go, yeah.
Do you think that's because of the psychology? Like phase 1, it's fresh, it's in the beginning stage, it's got a bigger target.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Phase 2, though, it's smaller target. The mindset usually is like, this is easy, or let's just get this done.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you flip it and say, let's turn it down.
Let's be conservative now. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you've already done half the job. So is it easier to make 5%, or is it easier to make 13%? Because you have to do that again, right? So so you stay with that concept. Even with this account, I haven't draw down. I have to make So I have to make 8% to recover, and I have to make 5%. So I have to make 13%. So I ask myself, is it easier to make 13% now, or is it easier to pay $300 again and again make 13%? Like, I'd rather save myself $300 at pass this by making 13%. So I was like, okay, so I need to take the slow. And then
What was the process like? Because we didn't get to touch on it in terms of when you had that 30K payout.
Oh yeah, so so initially I was a bit skeptical if I was gonna get it, because 36K payout, it's quite big. And then so I kept messaging Alex again and again. I was like, yo, where's my payout? I had because the money was big, so the bank was taking their time processing it. And I was like, yo, where's my payout? So I kept spamming him and stuff. But I finally got it. And then I was like, I told my dad, he couldn't believe it. And I was like, okay, show me. And I was like, here you go. So I straight off the bat, I gave my parents about 5K. I gave them enough to pay 3 months mortgage, because my dad recently left his job to focus on his own business. So he has no income coming in. So I stepped in to pay for the house mortgage. And then,
how did that feel for you?
It felt amazing. I felt amazing. So, because I finally got my self-respect back. Of course, my parents still loved me, but while I was trading, I had no self-respect. They respected me, but I didn't have any respect in their eyes. So when I finally got that self-respect back, my life changed around. I started being happy again, because I was literally depressed and before these payouts. And
what was your thoughts though in terms of that? So like, obviously, you know that it was your actions, if you will, your performance or your actions that created those losses. They then say don't trade. You continue to trade. What was your thought process during that?
So of course,
as you've already said, depression was there.
Yes, of course, I could have lost that payout if I had kept trading. I could have blown the account again. But I had 3 accounts. So let's say, how you enter, you instantly get evicted out. I had 3 accounts because I'm manually trading them. If I'm likely to blow one, I'm not likely to blow all 3 of them, and I still get a nice payout. So that's the good thing about manually trading. You're not you sometimes you get a better entry. Your TPs run off well. So that's the good thing about manual trading as well. And you get to wait for the market to actually happen. And you also dollar cost averaging without actually dollar cost averaging when you're trading.
Because they're separate accounts.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I got the payout, I was like, okay, you're the man now.
How did you have any issue? Oh, well, you already said after that you had the 12 challenges. or 12K, sorry.
Yeah.
And what happened after
They
that?
were really expensive challenges. So they were 90K splits, 90% split with
Oh,
the
okay,
add-ons.
so
And they were the
yeah.
weekly add-ons as well. So they were expensive challenges. So each challenge was about £2,000, I believe.
wow.
Each challenge was £2,000, 300K account.
So it's about 6 challenges. Then.
Yeah, so about 6 challenges. I wasn't respecting them, and then I was down to about my because I had paid off all the debts and everything. After 36K I had left, I was down to about 8K left, and I wasn't going to pay any tax on them because I had enough challenges to offset my
the losses from before.
So losses from before. I had enough to offset my losses, so I didn't worry about tax. So I had about 8K. Of that, I bought a few more challenge accounts. I got so I passed 1.4 million in funded accounts.
Wow.
Yeah, in a week. So in a week, I passed 1.4 million. Of that 1.4 million, I blew a 200K. I blew a 300K to slippage, funded peaks again. And then I blew a 200K because that firm I was trading with, they had 4% drawdown. And I was used to 5. And I didn't read the FAQ because I was managing so many funded accounts.
Yeah.
Got mixed between the rules. And I was like, okay, I need to stop, calm down, trade each account separately. So then I had about 900K funding left. I started to tell, okay, let's try to get another nice payout. This was only 2 trading days in after I had got my funded, and then I was getting worried. So I contacted Tilt Boy, David, that's his name. But Tilt Boy, he's really old name in funded trading, 7 figures. So I contacted him. Is it common to blow these funded accounts? He said yes, it's really common to blow funded accounts. You shouldn't stress over them. So I was like, okay. So I'm using him as an example. So. Okay, this part of the game, I need to accept it, move on. And then I started building a buffer. So I wanted to get another payout, right? Because I'm really competitive with myself. If I got a 1,000 payout today, I want to get a 2,000 payout tomorrow. So I was like, okay, let's build a buffer and let's try to get a nice, good payout again. And then I built a buffer. After that, I started aggressively risking. So I started 3%. So initially 1%. Built about a 10-15% buffer on all my accounts.
Yeah.
After that, I started again. I started trading every day, trading all the setup I see. People were telling me to stop at 40K. I didn't stop. People were telling me to stop at 50K. Didn't stop. 60K, 70K, 80K, 90K, 100K, 110K, 25, 35. After 35, I lost a few gains, 30% of my gains. Then I stopped.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to lose 30% of my payout. After 30%, you have to stop. Because then after that, you're gonna blow up the account eventually. So 30% of my payouts.
Is that like a rule you've set?
That's a rule I've set. Yeah. So if I lose 30% of my gains, I'll stop trading.
Is that any amount though? So say for example, you've made 20K.
No, after a certain buffer. So after a certain buffer. So after I made 10%, if I want to keep trading, the minimum I'll go down to about 6. So if I lose more than 30% of profits, then I'll stop trading.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And that leads us to now then.
Yeah, that leads to now. So literally, I had so people will say, yeah, you got lucky. So to ask them, I had a 140. So these are separate trades. I had a 1 to 110, the US 30 trade, the best one I ever took. Then I had a 40K trade different on Ascendix. Then I had another 40K. Then I had another 80K trade across all my funded accounts on ACG and Ascendix. And funded peaks. Funded peaks I end up closing early because I didn't want to get too big of a payout because I didn't want them to complain about it. So I literally closed on purpose because the payout was going to be too big on the account. And then I got another 11K, 12K, another 4 or 5Ks here. But then when I did risk that 2%, 3%, I did take 2 to 3% losses again. I took 9K losses on my ACG account, and but because I had so many break-even trades, they ate up that. My break-evens are plus 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because
it's like kind
exactly.
of mitigating to a degree.
So if I have 20 break-even trades and they're at 500, I've already got 10,000. Yeah. £10,000, $10,000 to.
But you're only ever risking that much when you have
when I'm up huge. So when I'm up huge, I'll risk I'll risk 30% of my gains on the day to make even more. So it's about that dynamic risk approach on the day, not on the weekly. So let's say I made 20% yesterday. I can't risk 10% because that will blow the account.
Yeah.
So you have to start again from the beginning. And if you keep that approach, and it's okay if you lose 4% doing this, because then you got another day to recover. And if you wanna go on a better approach, you only need you only need two 1-2s to recover, which are relatively easy. If you have a working edge, 1-2s you should be confident hitting 1-2s every 3 trades you take. You should be confident hitting that. If you're not, then you don't have a working strategy.
So how much in total payouts would you say you've done now?
So in dollars, I've done about 233K payouts in 4 weeks of trading.
Wow.
In 4 weeks of trading, yeah, $233K, yeah.
And then if you added on before that, it would probably be 250ish.
If I didn't get slipped on my funded peaks account, I'd be well over 300K.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. And so what's your plan from there though? Because most people in that position, based on my experience of like just being in the space for so long and observing the space for so long, is most people when they have these huge payouts, to be fair, a lot of people when they have these huge payouts, they're not very public or like they're not in this position on a pod or even on socials. A lot of the time they're on a leaderboard and no one knows who they are. But in your case, most people when they do that though, from what the prop firms have said and usually what we observe as well, is that they end up losing after that.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah. So I've been preparing for this. So I know there's a peak, there's a low, there's a high, there's a low, there's a high. If there's a high, I'd be a billionaire by the next in the next 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting advice from people like David Tilpoy. So I'm getting advice from people who work for prop firms. So I got advice from Wes. He works for ACG. He said, be careful. You need to save your profits. Don't go out fronting your money. Don't go out spending your money. I've even heard people with 50K payouts and they're still net negative on prop firms. 50K is a huge amount. So for prop firms, okay. And so I've heard people even making these big payouts. Their downfall does happen because they're not careful with the amount of money they spend. So for me, I'm not trying to blow more than £2,000 worth of challenges in a week.
Yeah.
So because probability is with me. So even if I have a really bad trading week, I have enough for another trading week, and that's true. So I've passed already. So my fundings, I'm only about 300K funded right now. I have another. So I've passed right now as we speak. I'm about to pass a FTMO 200K verification. So I'm about to pass that. I already have a phase 1 passed of FTMO, so 400K hopefully at FTMO. Yeah. I got another ACG account, phase 2. Just need to do the minimum days. Got another 100K account, which we got a phase 2 8% drawdown, which is nearly recovered right now. I'm gonna be funded 900K again by the end of next week. I should be funded 900K, and I don't have any firms right now which I'm willing to take risk on right now, because some firms are there in Canada, US. I'm not going in for any US or Canada firms right now, because CFT literally went for my Forex fund. So I'm not trying to go for I wanted to go for Maven, but I think they're based in Canada. So they had really good, I like their rules, but they're based in Canada, so I didn't go for them. So right now I'm really limited on what firms to go out. So even True Forex funds, apparently they're withholding payouts above 10K. I'm not sure how, but that's what I saw on Twitter literally on the way. So I can't go for them as well. So right now, as we speak, my flash funding, they went down overnight, which I was surprised. So there's a lot of volatility in the prop firm space right now. So you need to decide which firms you trade with, and then you have to see what firms hold values.
Would you say though that your strategy can work on a personal account?
Okay, yeah. So that's the thing. So I really want to get into personal accounts. So I've got this person which I've networked with. They held a position on Swiss yen. So they had a short position when they decreased the interest rate. So market dumped really hard. And they held their position for about 300 pips, 200 pips, which is crazy. So I don't have the discipline to hold that on a currency, especially. On gold, the moves are quick. So on gold, the moves are quick and clean. On currencies, they're not that clean, because the banks are actually buying and exchanging on 4 hour time frame. So they deep retracement, deep pullbacks. So he held it for 300. So I respect him because he has the discipline to hold that, and he added in. He got at right time. He wasn't greedy. He was showing off his position as it was going. So I've messaged him. I'll message you on Saturday. I want some advice on personal accounts. So if I do start a personal account, it'll be about 25K. Let's see how it goes. And then I'm not trying to lose all my payout on a personal account, because trading personal accounts is a different skill set to trading prop firm accounts. Yeah, it's a completely different approach. So right now, I blew a funded account, I didn't have any mental toll on me. But if
Mhm.
I had blown a personal account, oh my, I'd be pissed. I'd be revenge trading on revenge trading. So it's a completely different skill set, thought, psychology. Everything is different on a personal account. So I'll probably start off small and then scale up as how it goes.
Definitely. And do you think, or are you still in contact with the sort of therapist?
Therapist, I messaged them the other week. I was like, "Thank you so much."
Did you let them know?
Yeah, I let them
What
know.
were they saying?
I was instantly after our therapy, I started seeing results. I even got invited to podcast. Yeah, so I was like, "Thank you so much
What were they
for helping
saying?
me." Yeah, they were really happy.
Yeah.
They were really happy. Yeah.
That's good to hear. It's very interesting you bring that up, because obviously a lot of people, I think, do find... I was a gambler at one point. I really was.
Yeah. You can try. It's a really thin line. Gambling and trading is a really, really thin line.
Yeah.
And you can even say trading is gambling. You can even say
Yeah.
that. You can say that because you are actually risking money on a daily basis, and
Yeah.
it's not consistent. It's a high risk, so you can say it's gambling. But if you were to do that, every business is a gamble. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
everything in a life itself is a gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a really thin line.
But I think, would you recommend, if people are in that position...
Oh yes, definitely. If
to look at
anyone,
therapy?
if people come to me and they're like, ask yourself, are you losing because you don't have a system, or are you losing because you are risking too much? So if you ask yourself this, truly answer this to you, and then I truly ask myself, like, I have to get help because I can't keep going on like this.
Mhm.
So because before I was ashamed to get gambling therapy because I wanted people and my parents to think of me as a trader, not as a gambler.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me to actually go and get.
Did you
therapy.
tell them you were going to go?
Yeah, I told them I'm getting gambling therapy.
What was their response?
They gave up on trading, so they didn't really care. So yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
What was the response when you had this crazy payout, like this 180K?
Oh yeah, because I was making money, I was telling them this is what I've made, this is how much I've made, this is how much I've lost. And my mom, she literally makes about, I don't know, £110 a day or something.
Mhm.
And then because I was trading the Asian session, it's like, how much you make? I was like, yeah, I'm up about 12K. They're like, yeah, okay, then I'm going to work. So because I was doing these days every day, so they didn't react this much to the payout because they knew I made this much.
Yeah.
But the hard thing was actually getting the money, so because you can't trust firms, the new firms especially.
Yeah.
But the thing with so that's why I want to go for prop firms that I trust. And the thing with ACG was I trusted them because they gave me an account back on the back, so they gave me psychology tips. And actually, this is really interesting. So when I lost a lot of my money, prop firm trading, so I was down about 5K at ACG, 5K in challenges. I didn't have any money left. I called Alex. He has his number on Discord. So I called him. I was like, "Can you help me?" So I literally begging for challenges, right? He didn't help me, but I told him about my psychology issue. So at one point I was suicidal. So I'm gonna be open about that because trading does that to you. I was suicidal at a point. I told Alex about this, and he told me that I'm gonna I'm gonna ban you from my trading platform because I don't want this trading stress to be on you. And he refunded one of my challenges to kept me going with my university travel and my normal expenses. So I knew that this guy has values and he's honest in a sense. And so after that, I asked another person at the firm to unban me to go around Alex. He unbanned me. So and then again at Ascendix, so I didn't worry about my payout at Ascendix because the CEO actually reached out to me after I made my money. He said, "Don't worry, you are gonna get paid out.
Wow.
As long as you don't blow the account, you'll get paid out." And then even at Ascendix, he did something really similar to what Alex did. I found a bug. They had 100x leverage on Bitcoin on their funded accounts. And then when I reported to him, I said as a joke, "Can I get a 200k account? Not for me, for my friend. He lost his business in Lebanon. So it's a war going on, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, even if it's not a bug, I'll still give him a 200k account. Just send me his email." So like, okay, this guy is not in for money. He's not a stingy guy. So he has values. He's a good person. Because he said I'll send an account regardless. And even so you have to think when ACG banned me. So this is the thing. At other firms, I was actually worried that if I make too much, I'm not going to get paid. But at ACG, I wasn't because when they did ban me, right? So, but what's an ideal prop firms make money on. A degenerate gambler who keeps trading, who keeps putting in money every week consistently, and that's your ideal person for ideal target audience for a prop firm. And because Alex banned me from doing that, so I could trust him because he actually wanted good for what was good for me, not just hungry for money. But yeah, so that was really, I was like, okay, I can trust these guys, to be honest, as long as I don't break any rules.
Yeah.
As long as I don't do anything, I can make as much. And I got to 135k. I lost a bit, but 135k I got, because that shows the amount of extent.
Because of that relationship though, you weren't worried about the 100k?
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't worried that if they were gonna pay me or not, because they were always they were gonna pay me, and I did get a 36k payout before that, so I wasn't worried at all about getting my payout with them. Yeah, so I wasn't holding myself back.
So that's why. Do you think that helped you to actually scale?
Yeah,
the
exactly.
profits?
Yeah, I wasn't holding myself back. So I didn't care how much I made, how much I lost the day before. I wanted to make more on the next day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned ACG, and obviously that story there, about Alex is very commendable. But also you mentioned about the psychology tips. You mentioned about some data that someone was sharing in the Discord as well. You mentioned the game, which was very interesting too.
Yeah, dynamic risk. If you want to get the gist of dynamic risk management, literally go join the Discord and play that casino game. It will help you really see how dynamic risk actually works. Because I think the probability is about 50-50 when you win or lose. When you win twice as much. So you already have a good strategy going on for you. But if you use dynamic risk management in that with that, because we're assuming the markets are perfect, right? So you have a fixed rate, you will win. So when you do that, you actually you see the power of dynamic risk management in that game. That really helped me to actually apply it, fully apply it in my trading as well.
What's it like though, having a prop firm providing all that though? Because I haven't heard that before, especially the psychology tips and the game.
So I don't know why they came up with the game, but they helped me. Yeah. So So
do they know it did that for you?
Have you said I've only saved it to. I've talked about this in my interview with the Fendix the other day, but they haven't put it out yet. But they don't know that it actually helped me. They might have to take it down.
No, definitely. Well, it's interesting though, because obviously the psychology tips as well.
Yeah.
It just seemed, and then obviously them putting that sort of ban on you so that you don't overdo the buying challenges, etc. It does seem like it's a good community.
Yeah, it's really good community. Yeah. So when I was doing that dopamine fast, I had gone offline for about 2 weeks. Yeah. I literally had support team members reaching out to me. Is everything okay?
Really?
Yeah. So one person in the group chat had my number because we would play games together. It was like, let me contact him. And even then, because I had deleted WhatsApp, and he couldn't contact me. So I log into my Discord and I see all these people worrying about me. I was like, oh shit. Wow. Yeah. So it's a really good community. Really good trading community. Yeah.
That's incredible. We're coming towards the end of the podcast, but we'll go with some quick fire questions here. So what's the plan next? Obviously, you're getting funded.
So my plan is to make about 700k in payouts. Well, if this highs and lows again. So if I can't do it, I can't get these payouts every month, of course. But I should get there in about 8 to 9 months with my statistics and my probability playing out. So 6 to 8 months, I should get there. If not a year. After that, I'll probably look to open my restaurant because I want to have a stable income while you're trading. Or this advice that a person gave me said, you learn a really good skill, you leverage that skill and your time for money. For example, trading. Then you leverage your money to make more money, and then after that you've made a bit of money. You use your skill and the money you have, and you teach it to people to make more money. So I'm not saying I want to have a course, but I definitely want to have a trade floor running at some time in future, a personal trading funded trading floor. That can be which I was looking to fund myself or some funding partner, because I need to build a track record first. That's why I've been going on social media. So I'm building a track record. So in future, when I want to get funding for my personal trading floor as a business venture, I have a bit of backing to as a bit of track record to show people.
No, that sounds really interesting. And in terms of I remember you having some doubters as well which was interesting.
Oh yeah, so yeah,
There's a lot of,
I'll give them a shout out. So Yusuf on Twitter and Ironside, which was a 16-year-old kid. They were like, okay, prove your bank statements. So literally, I shut them up on Twitter. So I posted. I've deleted them now because I don't want my bank statements to be on Twitter. But I literally posted a screenshot going through all my bank accounts, all the payouts coming in.
I don't think you even need to. You know, some people, especially those people in particular, they're just negative every single day.
Exactly. So those people, they came out of me out of nowhere. Literally, we didn't tag them. I didn't tag them. No, they're just like, oh, I'm gonna expose
they were making out you were a fake or
a fake affiliate. Promoter. Affiliate of and I wasn't affiliated with any firm. Yeah.
These people, man. And the funny thing is that those sort of people are the people who they ask you for receipts.
Yeah.
They have no receipts themselves.
Yeah, they have nothing. I asked them, go on, show me a screenshot of your bank or some of your trades. Nothing. They didn't reply to anything.
I'll tell you now, the idiots.
Yeah, no.
Right? I'll say it plain and simple. The idiots, and they just literally. There's some people online, and this is why dopamine detoxes are very important.
Yeah.
But there's some people online who literally just live to be negative.
Oh yeah, a whole weekend he's still tweeting negative stuff about people right now. So literally, he blocked me, I think, but he's still.
He blocked me long time ago. I don't even know why. Never even spoken to him.
So he's still tweeting. So over the whole weekend, he tweeted negative stuff. Again, I was like, oh, okay, on Monday I'm going to expose you. I was like,
do you know why? It's because
nothing better.
You've done what he couldn't do.
Yeah, what
you've done something that he wished he could do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or this is just negative people as a whole, but. You know, it's incredible.
It's doable. So if you think about it, if I hit 1 to 10 trades 4 times. So if think about it, yes, the probability of you doing that is really hard. But when you're taking 70 trades a week, or when you're taking this week, the last week when I got the payouts. So on the first 36K payout, I took 74 trades over 8 trading days. And on this payout cycle, I took about 140 trades in total. In about 9 trading days, I did 9 trading days, 140 trades. And when you're targeting 1 to, so let's say I was targeting simple plain 1 to 10, because I took so many trades, the probability is there for them to play out.
In terms of strategy, though, like what are you looking at?
So I can't go well into detail because I did share it with one person. They actually ended up taking a really similar trade to me, and when I went short, and they were short as well. And then so I'm trying not to go too much into detail. When people ask me, I say it's experience because a big part of it is experience. But it's literally two lines. My analysis 2 lines. I'm not lying.
Really?
2 lines on certain times. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
And by the sounds of it, based on what you've explained though so far, and there will be people who are like, why doesn't he share it? Something to hide, right? The reality is, obviously, with prop firms, if people do have similar entries, they have issues when it comes to payouts. So I understand that aspect. But in terms of what you've explained, though, it sounds like if you're taking that many trades, you're essentially, I don't know, but you're essentially basically following the price action all day. And just trying
exactly.
To get the ups and
exactly. So if some of my trades literally look like a V. So literally short, close, long, close. So I try to catch a V. So I'm trying to catch price action. So you're assuming the markets are perfect. So that you'll catch. So when they are indeed perfect, because not every day they're perfect, but when they are perfect, there will be times in the day where they're perfect. And if you're able to monetize that exact time, you're well set for the whole week. Yeah.
Incredible. Let's finish up on an interesting note. So, like, what would your advice be to traders out there who were in your position before you made the profits?
Okay. So I put out a tweet. So someone recommended, what would you tell yourself back in the day? So what I said, don't focus on making money for trading. Learn the skills first and then make money. Because I was stuck in the cycle of working 80 hours a day. 80 hours a week.
80 hours a day. That's incredible. That's some Andrew Tate stuff right there.
Yeah, so I was working about 80 hours a week, and there were no easy days. So about 20-30K steps a day as well. So hard days. So, and because I was stuck in this loop, make money, lose money, make money, lose money. Rather than doing that, take your time, learn the skill first. Okay, learn the skill first, then work for the money. Okay, then work for the money, and then go to trading. So you're right. If you're not profitable, there's no point of working 80 hours a week only to lose only to lose the £1,000 you made in a week the very next day. There's no point. So if I could tell myself, I'd tell myself to go back, look, you don't need to do this job, learn the skill first, focus on yourself, and then once you know you're profitable, once you do have a profitable strategy, once I started doing that in December, I was like, okay, let me just backtest my system every day. I did that religiously for about two weeks of trading. So literally my trading date is 10 days. That's it. What made me confident in my strategy was 10 days worth of backtesting, 10 sessions worth of backtesting. That's it, and that was enough to make me confident. And then so if I could tell myself to do that, focus on building a system, be confident first, gain the confidence, then put any real money towards it. And don't be discouraged if you fail a funded or a challenge, because the probabilities are against you. You're expected to. So some people pass it in about 4 months, 3 months. I see people passing their challenges in 150 days, and to me that's impressive. That's what true profitability looks like. That is what true profitability is when you're passing your challenges over 100 or 200 days. And when people are passing challenges in 3 to 4 days, and they get discouraged when they're trying to pass it in 3 to 4 days. You can't get discouraged. The Wall Street's making about 60. So the best of the best funds, their average is about 66%, and that's amazing. And S&P does 10% a year, so on average. So how are you expected to make? How are you expecting yourself to make 8% and 5% in a week? So just don't get discouraged. Just keep to it. Just watch the market, experience the market. And you'll eventually get the experience and you also get this guts to exit positions and enter positions. So for me, what I've seen is on 1 minute, when there's a big reversal about to happen, the market will wick up, will wick down, and it will keep wicking. It won't break the highs. You won't see a big candle, but it will keep wicking. You can see the big orders are actually being put through, and that's what I learned from experience. And it doesn't happen at such a frequency, but I can tell when that 1 minute candle is happening. And I've gotten two of those. My 1 to 10 trades were based on that. That's it. 2 of my 1 to 10 trades were based on just that 1 minute candle. Yeah. Just experience, guts, and then intuition. So if there are strategies, there's all the strategies out there. You see people profitable with ICT, with Elliott Wave, harmonics, all of that. So people are profitable with trend lines. I use trend lines as well. I'm not saying that's part of my main strategy. So but I'll use trend lines to see a clear trend change. So I'll use trend lines. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's not the strategy that's making you profitable. It's the psychology that makes you profitable. So let's say even you were totally going randomly in the market. If you have a good risk management, like literally you have a good risk reward and you have a good management, you can still end up break even, which is still really good for markets. You can still be break even by randomly taking trades and having a good risk management. Literally, yeah. So So let the probability play. So you assume the markets are perfect. That's my
I love that phrase from today's podcast. How much did it help you? And I know that was meant to be the final question, but this one was in my head for a while. How much did it help you actually having the mathematics side, from A levels and from university? In trading, did that transfer?
That did definitely transfer, but that also harmed me. So because I didn't know how to take a loss. That was the hard part of me. I could never take a loss. So I've had positions. So on my live account, when I was trading on a live account,
the penny stocks,
trading 212, so trading on that. I would hold positions into 100% drawdown. So I could never take a loss properly.
Okay.
And then this is a quote I saw. This was an Indian trader said. So this person, he went to a market. So it wasn't really a stock market, but it's like where you sell
the markets, actual markets,
the actual markets where you sell linen. So you sell raw material,
silk,
silk and all that, right? And he's like, you're the oldest one here. All of these people are 20, 21 years old. How have you managed to stay here for the longest? He's like, I can cut off my finger to save the hand. And that really hit me. So so like, okay, so I need to cut off my finger to save the hand or to save the arm.
Losses.
Exactly. So break even, stop losses. So I wasn't utilizing them perfectly. So I still move my stop loss sometimes. So if my stop loss is here, I'll move it there. That's okay. But if you need to protect yourself. You shouldn't be blowing an account on daily drawdown. That's the big thing. So you fully want to utilize your drawdown.
Everything that you have.
Exactly, everything you have. So again from prop firm. So I talked to the support team. They said most of the challenges are blown
Daily
on the
drawdown.
daily drawdown
Yeah.
is what blows the challenges. It's not the max drawdown they're breaching; it's the daily drawdown that the people
Mhm.
breach. Yeah, so
Tells you everything you need to know.
exactly. Yeah, so the people failing, they need to ask themselves: is it the system or are they over risking?
Mhm.
If they're over risking, get gambling therapy because trading is gambling. You need to accept it at
Mhm.
certain point. Yeah.
100%. Well, Simran, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming down, and I wish you well on the future of your journey. And I have a feeling you're going to do very well. I have a feeling you're going to do very well. So I'm rooting for you myself, and hopefully we'll stay in touch too.
Just stay in touch.
Hopefully we'll do like
course.
an update.
Yeah,
Once
of
we hit
course,
the 700K.
in about yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, yeah.
It's been a pleasure. But thank you for coming down, man.
Yeah, sure.
Your links will be in the description below, so everyone check them out. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from today's episode. And as always, hit like, subscribe. There'll be other videos on screen somewhere around here. I don't know where. But yeah, as always, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, take care.